it's Chi-Town, it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I want to give a huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's episode of Keek on the Mic. As always, make sure you guys head over to betus.com and use promo code YouTube150 for 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000 to bet on the Chicago Bears all season long. And obviously the Chicago Bears are rolling, coming off a 4-2 off the bye week. And once again, I am joined by my co-host, Isaiah Frey. How you doing, Isaiah?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing well, man. 4-2 off the bye, feeling good, in a loaded NFC North division. I mean, I was making some jokes with my dad on the bye week that even though the Bears were on the bye, it felt like we lost last week because that's how good the NFC North is, right? So I think everyone in the division right now has 5 wins currently. So it kind of like feels like the Bears are left out. But let me know, Isaiah, how you're feeling about the 4-2 Bears right now.
Looking good, man. I mean, having 4 wins after 6 games is always a good thing. Comparing it to last year where they were at this time, I think, it's very positive watching the way they're playing right now. And the good thing about it is they're not getting wins by just, kind of getting lucky. These are wins that they're progressively getting better in. So that's always a good thing to watch as a fan.
Right. And, I always go back to the quote that you told me, I believe it was last season. You said the goal is to get 1% better every single week. And I think that's exactly what Caleb Williams is doing every single week. He's growing as a player. He's growing as a passer. Some of the things that he is doing on the football field is unseen from a rookie quarterback. And I told DeAndre Carter that I had on the podcast last week that, I feel like he has reinserted himself in the offensive rookie of the year conversation. Do you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. I think you look at, going back to what I said just a little bit ago, looking where they were at after 6 games and looking where they're at now. A big reason why is because of the way he's playing. He's playing lights out right now, especially for a rookie. And he's only going to get better. I think that's a great thing that we can talk about right now is as good as he's playing now, there's still a lot of room for growth and improvement. Right. And that's a great thing to hear as a Bears fan.
And that's a scary thing is that's one of the things that DeAndre Carter actually said on our podcast and our conversation together is like they haven't even reached their ceiling yet as an offense, and he hasn't even reached his ceiling as a player. So, for the first time ever as a Bears fan, it finally feels like we have a franchise quarterback. Of course, I think we want to, proceed with caution because of, the history of Chicago Bears quarterbacks, but things are definitely looking up, not only for Caleb Williams, but the Chicago Bears offense as well.
Most definitely. It's starting to click, and Shane Waldron's actually doing a good job calling the plays now, man. So I think it just took a little time to kind of feel the team out and see where they're at, man. But all things are rolling right now.
Right, exactly. I definitely agree. So before we go into a little conversation of this week preview of the Commanders game this weekend, it's going to be a big game. They actually flex the game to, I think, the afternoon window where we'll get Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. And whenever you get those two, it's going to be a huge game. Definitely love listening to those guys call games. But they have a huge game against the Commanders this weekend. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I do want to ask your opinion. Obviously the Bears are sitting at 4-2. The trade deadline is November 5th. And we all know that Ryan Poles is really aggressive at the trade deadline the last 2 years. I believe 2022 traded for Chase Claypool. That didn't work out. Last season traded for Montez Sweat. That worked out. Do you think Ryan Poles is aggressive this year as well?
It depends. I mean, you'd probably know better than I do. What assets do they have as far as draft capital?
Yeah, so currently we have a 1st-round pick and 2 second-round picks. One of those second-round picks is the Carolina Panthers pick. So that's going to be probably pick number 33, 34 in the draft.
Yeah.
So you can that's a major trade chip if you do want to go get another player to add to your football team.
I mean, if you're going off a track record and what he's done in the previous years, I can see him pulling the trigger on a player, specifically an O-lineman. I think we'd all sit here and agree that adding one would be very helpful to the team. The only thing I'm worried about when you do that midseason, it's tough. It's tough as an O-lineman to get those calls and those checks and learn the offense in such a short time. But there's nothing they wouldn't be difficult to go get a center or a guard, man. Those are probably the 2 easier positions to be able to teach as an O-lineman. But so it's possible, man. I wouldn't doubt it, putting it past him.
Yeah, I know Ryan Poles is like he never sleeps, dude. It's actually a crazy thing that
Right.
every single year he trades for, to me, a quality player. As much as we hate it now, Chase Claypool was a quality player at the time, and he's always given up
Absolutely.
second round picks. Now he has 2 second round picks at his disposal, and I think he will possibly be aggressive, especially thinking that the Bears are sitting at 4-2 with the chance not only to make the playoffs, but they're actually in the thick of the NFC North race as well, right? And we have this gauntlet of the schedule coming up. It's going to be a huge stretch where you play the Commanders, the 49ers, everyone in the NFC North, the Seattle Seahawks as well. It's going to be a tough stretch. So I think he probably will make a move. And it may not be a sexy move because I don't think offensive linemen are sexy moves, but I think it would be a huge move for the Chicago Bears at the end of the day. But Isaiah, I did want to bring this to not only your attention, but the people listening to today's episode of Keek on the Mic, is that Matt Eberflus actually had a chance to deny kind of like the recent trade rumors that's been going around, not only Nate Davis, but Khalil Herbert, or them possibly adding maybe a guy from a different team. And he didn't deny those rumors. And in a press conference today, he actually was kind of encouraging it, making it seem like the Bears are active in trade talks, not only for Nate Davis, Khalil Herbert, but maybe potentially, and he even used the word potentially, adding a player from a different team to make the Chicago Bears better. What's your take on what Matt Eberflus had to say about that?
That's standard. That's standard in this league. The teams are always looking to improve upon their personnel. I think it's cool to actually hear a head coach admit it for the first time, because a lot of the times they're going to kind of push it to the side and make it seem
Right.
like it's not as big as it actually is. But yeah, that's standard for every NFL team. If they weren't, then they wouldn't be doing their jobs and they wouldn't be doing it good. So, it doesn't surprise me much. You just hope to see that it materializes before the deadline.
Yeah,
Can't talk today.
I just love the aggressiveness from Matt Eberflus, because usually, like you said, head coaches are usually like to themselves. They won't
Right.
say anything. But the fact that he didn't deny it and said, "Yeah, hey, we could potentially be adding maybe one more piece," and I think it shows that the Bears are ready to win now. They feel like they have a team that can win now, and I think it all stems on how Caleb Williams is playing as a rookie and how he's developing and improving week in and week out to send that 4-2. Like I said, and when you look at the NFC North, the Vikings are 5-1, Detroit's 5-1, Green Bay's 5-2. They're still in the thick of the NFC North as well. So I think that's why I could definitely see Ryan Poles and the Bears being aggressive at that November 5th trade deadline.
Definitely got to stay in competition with these guys, man. The NFC, this is the best I've ever seen this division. So there may be a possibility you can get all 4 teams in the playoffs, man. But that'll be a tough thing, but it's possible.
Isaiah and I just want to see the Bears in the playoffs for once. I think, Isaiah and I have been doing this together for what, 3-4 seasons now. And it's always been, we did it. We started this when they were rebuilding. So it's kind of our fault. But now we finally have an organization, a team that we can be proud of.
Yeah. We were at the base of it, man. Just to talk about it. It'd be good for them to get in there and compete, man. That'd just be good to watch. It'd be good to have a podcast talking about a playoff game. I would love
a playoff win, maybe, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. So, all right, Isaiah. So, coming off the bye, Bears are 4-2. They're going to be taking on the 5-2 Washington Commanders. They are currently the 3-point favorites in this game in Washington. It's going to be a big game for the Chicago Bears. Honestly, this is where Caleb Williams is from. Originally, it was going to be number 1 Caleb Williams versus number 2 Jaden Daniels. Honestly, he got hurt during that huge win over the Carolina Panthers, where they absolutely dismantled the Panthers, which it's the Carolina Panthers, so there's not much weight to that game. But overall, the Washington Commanders have been a very good football team. A huge surprise to start the year. I feel like this is going to be a big game for both sides. What's your initial reaction to this matchup against the Commanders?
Should be a good matchup. Even with Jaden Daniels being out, Commanders got a good team this year. Dan Quinn's doing a great job over there. Defensive expert over there, man. So I expect him to throw some things at Caleb, with his young mind and not being able to see as much as he have in these short 6 games that he's played. Something different, something unique that he might have never seen before. And I think Caleb answers the bell this week with that.
Yeah, one thing when I look at the Washington Commanders, I feel like they definitely have a defense that the Chicago Bears can take advantage of. They're 16th in total yards given up. 12th against the pass, 19th against the rush. Maybe a big day for DeAndre Swift in store, possibly. I know he's been heating up over the last couple of weeks going into that bye week. Maybe get Cole Kmet involved as well. They're 15th in points allowed, 21.7 a game, 24th in third down percentage as well. So when I look at the Commanders' offense, they've been good, but I think when I'm looking at the Commanders' defense, I definitely see hopefully a big game for Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears offense as well.
Yeah, that's what you would hope. But you never want to take that for granted. I think,
Right.
being a professional team, they always got guys over there that can make plays, and never underestimate the knowledge of Dan Quinn, man.
Right.
That dude can coach some football, man. So seeing what game plan they come out against the Bears with is going to be interesting. But we'll see how this game materializes.
Right, for sure. So now looking at some key injuries to this game, obviously Jaquan Brisker is still in concussion protocol. Matt Eberflus made it clear that he should be good to go for Sunday. Tyreek Stevenson should also be good to go for Sunday against the Commanders. And obviously Kyler Gordon got hurt with a hamstring injury during that win over the Jacksonville in London a couple of weeks ago. He's saying that we'll see where they're at on Wednesday, but he should also be good to go, which is huge because even though the secondary looked good against Jacksonville, Jalen Jones and Elijah Hicks did really good in replacing Jaquan Brisker and Tyreek Stevenson. It's going to be good to have Brisker and Gordon back. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is questionable week to week, is what Dan Quinn called it with the rib injury. And then Jonathan Allen, their standout D tackle, is actually on IR. He actually tore his pec a couple weeks ago, which is a huge loss for the Washington Commanders defense. What's the biggest takeaway from the injuries?
I mean, Jaden Daniels is the big one. I think, he's been having a great season in the running for Rookie of the Year. Him being out is going to hurt them. So Bears should be able to take advantage of this situation. Their defense has been playing lights out all year, and them controlling the game and creating turnovers. That's going to be the key to the game and then getting the victory.
Yeah, the one big reason why I feel like not having Jaden Daniels out there is going to hurt them is not because of his throwing ability. It's because of his dual threat ability, his running ability. The Chicago Bears defense, that's been their one big weakness all season long, is really containing and slowing down the rushing attack. And I feel like that's what, the Washington Commanders do well, especially with Jaden Daniels and his ability as a runner. Obviously, Brian Robinson Jr. is having a good season. They obviously have Austin Eckler as well. So they have a couple of guys that can really get after it in the running game. And then obviously when you try to load up the box and stop it, they have a guy like Terry McLaurin as well. So, they have a lot of good guys on this offense. So obviously if Jaden Daniels isn't able to go, that's a huge win for this Bears defense.
Absolutely. I think it works in their favor. So yeah, we'll see, man. Marcus Mariota is their backup, correct?
Yeah, which is also a threat. Marcus Mariota is definitely a good quarterback in terms of what they want to run over there in Washington.
Right. And he can get the running when he wants to. So it's gonna be a challenge, man. It'll be a good game. I'm excited to watch this one.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and move on to some X factors of this game. I'll let you go ahead and start this one.
First one for Washington is Marcus Mariota. I think he's a veteran in this league. He's won some ball games, lost some ball games. But you can never take for granted the fact that he can take off and run, like we just spoke about. I think they got to take that serious and be ready and be prepared to stop that. X factor for the Bears is going to be DeAndre Swift. He's been playing lights out the last couple of weeks, especially after I think a couple podcasts ago, we were talking about maybe replacing him possibly. Right. Ever since then, man, he's been playing lights out. So just having him continue doing what he's doing, and the Bears offense is going to continue to roll.
Yeah, for me, it's going to also be DeAndre Swift. I think that's where it always starts, is getting the run game going. Obviously, shout out to Shane Waldron from making him comfortable. I'm getting involved in offense, not only in the running game, but the passing game as well. It seems like the Bears finally have a balance. And I think that balance is going into no huddle, hurry up. I believe DeAndre Carter actually confirmed that in our interview last week, that's one of the things they do to kind of get things going, is that hurry up, no huddle offense. So yes, DeAndre Swift's going to be huge in this game, and obviously getting Caleb Williams going as well. For me, for Washington, I'm going to be looking at Terry McLaurin. Obviously, when Jaden Daniels is out, that's still going to be their go-to guy. 35 receptions, only one drop on the season, 454 yards, and 4 touchdown receptions. He's still a big-time playmaker, and Terry McLaurin kind of reminds me of DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears. No matter who the quarterback is, he still gets off. So Terry McLaurin's a guy for the Commanders I'm looking at.
Scary Terry, man. He's a dude,
Yeah,
man. He finally got a quarterback throwing him the ball, so it's good to
right.
see him have some success over there now.
Absolutely. And same thing with DJ Moore as well. I'm happy
Right.
for both of those guys that they finally have quarterbacks. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and talk about some key matchups, Isaiah, for this game over the Commanders.
My first matchup is going to be the Bears D line versus the Washington Commanders O line. I think if the Bears D line can get after Marcus Mariota quick and often, I think this game gets out of hand pretty early. So that's going to be a big matchup for me. And then my second one is going to be the Bears DBs versus the Commanders receivers. I'm curious to watch how Marcus Mariota actually stays in the pocket and passes this game to see if that works well for him. And then
Right.
obviously we always got a key on Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. So those matchups right there, and then seeing if Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon are going to be okay to go. It's going to be a key thing to watch for us moving forward.
Yeah, obviously the availability of Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker is going to be huge for the Chicago Bears defense. I think we definitely missed them against Jacksonville, and I think they're definitely going to need to be healthy for this tough matchup in
Right.
Washington. Just a couple of points. First and foremost, the Bears D line actually has 18 sacks to start the year, so I'm definitely getting out the quarterback, definitely heating up. Huge shout out to Javon Dexter. The way that he's playing. Darrell Taylor, even Andrew Billings, Montez Sweat, all those boys are getting after it, and are only going to get better, and that's obviously what Matt Eberflus is hoping for. That's how he really gets his defense going, depending on the front four. And right now, that front four is definitely eating. And then obviously, looking at the Chicago Bears secondary, still one of the best units in the National Football League, especially when they are fully healthy. To me, I know they're going to have a plan for Terry McLaurin, but if they are getting pressure on Marcus Mariota, he's probably not going to have a lot of time to actually get the ball to Terry McLaurin as well. So, Isaiah, it's going to be an interesting game, but as always, let's go ahead and get into the score predictions for the Bears versus Commanders. Who do you have winning this football game?
I got Bears winning this one 24-10.
24-10. And is the fact that would your score prediction be different with Jaden Daniels in the game?
Absolutely. It would be more on the realm of about 21-17 if he was playing.
21-17. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I also think the Bears are going to win this football game and move to 5-2. I'm going to have them win this football game by a score of 21-10. I think the Chicago Bears defense is going to be a little bit too much. And obviously the Commanders not having Jaden Daniels is going to be huge. I think it's still going to be a very good football game, but I think the defense is going to do what the defense does for the Chicago Bears. And then Caleb Williams is going to continue to show why he is reinserting himself in the Rookie of the Year conversation. It definitely sucks that we won't see Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams. Maybe things change for Jaden Daniels. I'm really hoping that he does play, because I think that's why everyone wants to see that matchup, right? So hopefully he has a quick recovery, and hopefully he can maybe suit up against the Bears this weekend. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, even if not so, maybe we'll see them in the playoffs against each other. You never know.
That would also be an outstanding matchup. Before I let you go, Isaiah, I do want to ask you this. At the moment, who is your Rookie of the Year? Is it going to be Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels?
It's tough, man. They're kind of tied for me right now. Because Jaden Daniels came out kind of strong early on,
right.
And Caleb had his little growing pains in the beginning, but it's hard to say right now because he's progressively getting better, and Jaden Daniels has been lights out as well. So
right.
You would have to ask me probably in about 4 weeks, and I'd have a better answer for you. It's tough, right? It's too close right now to have a clear-cut answer. I wouldn't be mad at either of them, though. I think both of them are well-deserving.
Yeah, and I do want to make it known that just because I'm a Bears fan and Caleb Williams is my quarterback, Jaden Daniels is still an outstanding player. Man. He's getting better every single week. And, and obviously I feel like he did have a good sample size against the Baltimore Ravens. He played pretty well, and that's a tough game, and almost come away with the win in that game. Didn't come out with the win, but obviously you can judge Caleb Williams a little bit more when we play the NFC North, the 49ers,
right?
Some of these tougher matchups coming on the second half of this schedule.
It's just tough, man, because both of them they have their teams better than what they were playing last year. So it's like, man, it's like apples and apples, man. It's hard to pick.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the voters when that decision finally comes at the end of the year. So, Bears fans, you can go ahead and put down in the comment section who you feel like is the Rookie of the Year right now, and don't be biased. If Jaden Daniels is better quarterback right now, you can say Jaden Daniels, but they're both really good players and good for both Washington and Chicago. Looking like they finally have their franchise quarterback. But as always, Isaiah, I definitely appreciate you coming on for another episode of Kick on the Mic.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no worries. And as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. Once again, make sure you guys also head over to betus.com and use promo code YouTube150 for a 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000 to bet on the Chicago Bears all season long. Better than not, be back for all new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
Bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.